Millions of years ago, Earth looked nothing like today. There were no countries, no continents, just one giant landmass, Pangaea, floating in a single endless ocean. You might think of a T-Rex when you hear prehistoric, but the dinosaurs came later. Before them, the world belonged to stranger, older creatures, and the Permian Period, that was their time to shine and to vanish. The Permian Period started about 300 million years ago. Back then, Earth had just come out of an ice age. It was cold, dry, and quiet. But that didn't last. Soon volcanoes erupted across the land. Temperatures climbed, forests spread, and life began to explode, with bugs, plants, and the first animals with real backbones. This was a time of change, and it was just getting started. As the Earth warmed, strange forests took over. Early seed plants called gymnosperms began to spread, like pine trees without pine cones. And hidden in the leaves? Bugs. Everywhere. There were giant dragonflies with 2-foot wingspans, millipedes as long as a car, and cockroaches the size of birds. The air was thick with oxygen, so thick insects could grow to monstrous sizes. It was a buggy paradise, unless you hated bugs. While giant bugs ruled the skies and swamps, something else was rising on land. Meet Demetradon, part reptile, part mystery. It walked low to the ground, like a crocodile. But on its back, a giant sail, like a prehistoric solar panel. Scientists think it helped control body heat, and its teeth, sharp, jagged, deadly. Dimetrodon was the top predator of its time. Long before dinosaurs, it was king. After Dimetrodon, new predators appeared. Therapsids. They looked like reptiles but were closer to mammals. Some had fur, some had whiskers, and many were warm-blooded. This gave them an edge. They could hunt early, move faster, and stay active while others rested. While strange beasts roamed the land, the oceans had their own drama. Early sharks swam alongside armored fish in ancient coral reefs. There were giant scorpions that hunted both on land and underwater. Some were as long as your arm, others the size of a dog. But things were changing fast. As volcanoes pumped gases into the sky, oxygen in the oceans began to drop. Marine life was living on borrowed time. By the late Permian, Earth was in trouble. Volcanoes in what is now Siberia erupted for nearly 1 million years. They spewed lava, ash, and gases that wrapped the planet in a toxic haze. Temperatures soared, rain stopped. Oceans turned into dead zones, with barely any oxygen left. Plants died. Then the animals followed. What started as slow change became a global collapse. About 252 million years ago, it all came crashing down. This was the biggest extinction event in Earth's history. We call it the Great Dying. Over 90% of marine species vanished. On land, 7 out of every 10 animal species were wiped out. The skies darkened, the air turned toxic, and for a while, Earth fell silent. But extinction wasn't the end. It was the reset button. From the ashes of the Permian, life began again. New creatures evolved, some small, some fast, and among them were the first true ancestors of dinosaurs. The world slowly healed. Forests returned. Oceans came back to life. The stage was set, and soon in the age of dinosaurs would begin. But before the roars and the thunder, there was silence.